By the wolves we are chased away. Oh, they leave nothing behind.
Alright, so I am headed to a place here in the White Mountains of Arizona. I'm headed up to hopefully find some more Mexican wolves. Headed to the campground here very shortly. Probably not going to find them, but it's worth a shot. I mean, it's beautiful up here. It's a great excuse to get out of the heat in Phoenix. It's absolutely gorgeous up here. I'm hitting here just about sundown, and it's just went through a crazy thunderstorm, and it's raining a lot. The reason why everything's green here is because of it, but hopefully I can get ahead of the storm and get my tent set up before it dumps on us. So I'm going to be meeting up a friend of mine. His name is Hector Morales. He's another fellow photographer. We actually met in Yellowstone of all places. So we were looking at wolves in Yellowstone, and we decided to come check out wolves here in Arizona. So he lives in Phoenix as well. So anyways, I am headed to my campsite, and hopefully I can get my tent set up before I get too soaked. I'll catch you guys later.
It's just a 4.5 hour drive from where I live in Phoenix, Arizona, up to wolf country in the eastern part of the state, where Mexican gray wolves are currently on the rebound. This time of year, the summer monsoons bring a lot of rain, which is very much needed here in Arizona.
Alright, so made it here, and it's raining like crazy, but it's the best way to go to sleep.
So while I'm getting settled in for a rainy night, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and leave me a comment down below. Have you ever camped in the rain? The next day we got a late start because the rain did not let up until mid-morning. So we headed out to where I thought the wolves might be located based on the last time I was out there. Which, if you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. I actually saw my very first wolves in the wild here. And as we got there, we saw something that got both of us extremely excited.
Alright, so Hector and I, we are here in the White Mountains where I saw the Mexican wolves a couple years ago out in this valley. Off in the trees about there are probably 30 vultures, so something's dead. So we're going to get our gear and take the opportunity to check this out because hopefully we find something.
Fingers crossed, we got Mexican wolves.
Something's dead. We'll see what it is. So we'll check back in a minute. We're going to get our gear.
We had been scouting a little ways down the trail, so we had to quickly get back to the truck to get our gear. The presence of all the vultures and ravens was a really good sign of a potential wolf kill, or at least a dead animal of some kind.
Alright, so Hector and I are back at the truck, getting all the gear prepped because we're going to be booking it out the area where we think the wolves could be because, like I said, there's a lot of vultures, 30 of them roughly, all on something. So we're going to make our way, be quiet. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to do a lot of video recording. We're just going to get there and see what we can get. And then if we do get something, I'll bring you guys in on that. So
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Here we go. It's going to be exciting.
Okay, Hector and I have walked up to where we think the kill is in the area, and there's a lot of vultures. A coyote just moved out of the area too, we saw. And now the vultures are moving again. So we're taking it very cautious and very slow.
We didn't want to potentially spook any wolves or other scavengers off of the kill, so we took our time to carefully scout and look for any sign of them before we approached even closer. There were definitely a ton of vultures. We had to be right on top of the kill.
Alright, so we're trying to figure out what it is so we know where to set him up blind. Just taking it really slow. There's another vulture on the tree over there. Yeah, it's got some nice water.
After thoroughly scouting every nook and cranny we could, we moved further ahead. And eventually, we found the kill. But there wasn't much left of it. And not being an expert on forensics, we couldn't tell what it was. But there was a good potential that if we waited it out, we could see what might show up.
So we found the kill. Whatever this is. Definitely died. Pretty fresh, honestly. Very, very fresh.
So with that, we quickly set up the blind and made our plan to wait them out.
All right, so Hector and I just got the blind set up. We have it about, 75 to 100 yards away from where the kill is. And so if something comes back there tonight, we'll be sitting and waiting for him. And we've got a nice, good, wide field of view. So hopefully we get some opportunities for something awesome. We did see coyote when we walked up here. So we do have opportunity for coyote. Potentially wolf. I did see some wolf tracks, so and bear tracks too. So we have the trifecta: coyote, wolf, and bear potentially. We were keeping an eye out in the trees just in case there was a cat up there. So,
And by cat, I mean mountain lion, because there are also mountain lions in this area as well. Wolves aren't the only predator on this landscape. Little did we know what we were actually going to see later in the day. As I mentioned earlier, the summer monsoons bring a lot of rain to this area, which green up the meadows and everything just gets so much prettier.
All right, so we've set up in the blinds. Got my rig set up, took a while to build it out, so it's kind of crammed for space, so I didn't really want to spend too much time filming the process, but we're downwind of where the kill is, and that's looking right out towards this view. Got Hector here. He's got his setup. You're in the R5, is that what you're shooting?
Canon R5.
And an R5, and he's got the 600
F4.
F4. So if anything comes in view, we have it completely covered. So hopefully we get the coyote. We saw a coyote earlier this morning, kind of walking through there. He was eating scraps of something, and we spooked it off when we kind of discovered it was there. We stopped, and then it ran away. So we're hoping it comes back. Time is gonna tell. It's a waiting game now.
And so now, it was time to wait. The Mexican gray wolf recovery area here in Arizona and New Mexico is twice the size of Yellowstone National Park. And for some reason, the White Mountains here in Arizona have captured my heart. Maybe it's because of the wolves, but there's something unique about this high elevation that truly speaks to the wild within. Hour after hour continued to tick by, but no sign of any wolves. Only a fleeting glimpse of another coyote, which unfortunately we did not capture on film. But we were determined to wait them out. The storm clouds continued to build, lightning flashed in the distance, and thunder began rumbling across the high expanse. But still, we waited. Until suddenly movement. But it was just a chipmunk. And then a kestrel came by. But still, no wolves.
been sitting here pretty much all day. No wolves. The carcass is pretty cleaned over, so if that's what killed it, then it's a good chance they've already moved on. But yeah, the light's changing. We've got a lot of clouds, a lot of thunderstorms moving through the area, so we kind of don't want to get caught out in the middle of the thunderstorm either, especially as the light leaves. So we're going to call it, pack up, and head back to the truck and see if we can't maybe get lucky on our way back to campsite. So next time, it's wildlife. You never know. All right, so all packed up and we're headed back out. No wolves. That's pretty much to be as expected. They're really hard to find. It's an area twice the size of Yellowstone National Park, with, here in Arizona at least, roughly the same number of wolves. So a little bit less dense. So definitely a challenge, but a lot of fun still.
Even though we didn't see wolves today, there is something incredibly peaceful and relaxing about spending time out in nature that replenishes the soul. And nature always rewards.
All right, so we're back at the camp now. We just found out that the saddleback actually is literally right next to the camp. So we're scouting where we believe they are to be. So it's literally like in a draw right next to camp. It's crazy. I'll show you. They're about a half mile this way, and camp is literally right up the hill. So if we can glass them from a distance without them finding us or seeing us, then tomorrow morning, first thing, we're gonna come back at first light, assuming it's not raining like it was this morning, and see if we can't get some footage, get some shots and some footage.
As we made our way down the draw in search of the pack, and as we got to the edge of the canyon, something moving caught Hector's eye down below. And neither of us could believe what we saw. If you look closely, you'll see a mountain lion crossing the canyon through the trees. And as luck had it, neither of us had our cameras.
All right, so this is a new day. We didn't see the wolves yesterday, but Hector and I were going to go up another area where we think the wolves could be. And it's public knowledge where the locations are, so we're kind of checking that area out. And we hiked up this draw close by where we're staying, and we heard them howling this morning in a different location. But we decided to hike in here anyways, just in case, because it's right this time of season, wolves are doing what they call rendezvous sites with their pups. So they'll drop their pups off, and then the wolves will move out, hunt, come back. And where we've come to right now, I think is where they've bedded down a lot. It's possible the den site could be around here still, but there's probably 8 or so beds that are pretty fresh, and we found fur in one of them, which matches the color and length of a Mexican wolf. So that's pretty exciting. I think it's very possible they could be here, so we're going to get out of the area. We don't want to be here in case they come back, because we don't want to disturb them. We thought they'd be further along up the canyon, so didn't expect it to come right in this position. So I'll show you a couple of the wolf beds, and then we're going to head out.
If you look closely, you can actually see the claw marks where the wolves have dug out their beds to rest in. And these beds were very fresh, as it had recently rained the day before in the morning. So these wolf beds were likely used yesterday and potentially last night. Wolves will dig out their beds, which removes the warmer topsoil, so they can lay down and feel the coolness of the earth below, so they can rest through the day after a long night of hunting.
You can see right here, I don't know if it shows on the camera, but you've got the claw marks.
I also found a set of wolf tracks, so I was confident we were in the middle of their lair, or potentially a den site.
here. Another wolf bed right here. It's a wolf bed on the other side of that log. That bed right behind that just dead stump. One right by the base of that tree, and one at the base of this tree. And potentially a few more. Okay, so we've made it down a little ways from where we found the wolf beds. And we found this open clearing, which could be a good place for the rendezvous sites if they decide to do that, if that's what they decide to do and use this area. It's got a nice water source, this little trickling brook up in front of us here, and we're kind of positioned currently in an area where we have good view and we can see across that meadow and it expands it. So if the wolves are in there, the wind is blowing in a way where we won't blow into their area. In fact, we're downwind of them. So you never know. A lot of great sign. Yesterday a carcass. Today wolf beds. So we're circling the target right now.
And so we waited. And waited. And waited yet again.
One other thing is I have not set my camera up yet because it takes quite a bit to put it together. Because I am taking the FX6 today and I'm shooting on that. So it requires a lot of extra bits and pieces to make it actually work. So I stripped it down as bare minimum as I can. But it's still quite a bit of work. So I'm not going to set it up just yet. Maybe in a little bit I will, but kind of getting a lay of the land first. Alright, so we've been sitting here for a minute and we just saw 4 canid-like animals running across the meadow in front of us. So I'm setting up the gear. Very likely it could have been wolves. So, who knows? It could be interesting.
What we saw were 4 wolves running through the tree line in the distance across the clearing. But that was the last we saw of them. It was still pretty amazing though.
All right, made it back to the campsite. Unfortunately, didn't see the wolves other than that little bit. We saw 4 of them run across the meadow. They were chasing something maybe, or just running. Couldn't tell. By the time they crossed, they're out of sight. By the time I could get my camera set up, they never came back. So started raining pretty good, so we decided to call it and head back to camp because we got to get out today. Now it's starting to clear up, but what an adventure. We had the opportunity to see the carcass yesterday, mountain lion yesterday, and then wolves today, and wolf beds today. I mean, even though we weren't able to film what we wanted or take pictures and get the photographs we were looking for, still an insanely amazing and successful day. So, headed back to Phoenix. Gonna put this edit together. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you've ever seen wolves in the wild. Would love to hear anyone who has. If you've been in Yellowstone or elsewhere, let me know. And then until next time, keep an eye out for the next episode of Filming the Wild.
If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to join our growing community of engaged patrons over on my Patreon channel, Filming the Wild. For as little as $3 a month, you can engage directly with me and get even more behind-the-scenes looks at the work I do as a wildlife filmmaker. You'll get exclusive access to early online screenings of my next upcoming films, and maybe get lucky enough to go out adventuring with me on one of my next projects. I will definitely be returning back to the White Mountains in Arizona in search of Mexican wolves. So join me in the Filming the Wild family, and maybe you can join us next time we head out in search of Mexican wolves. So head over to my Patreon channel and be sure to say hello. In the meantime, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment below and help us grow this channel. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye out for the next episode of Filming the Wild.